This video contains spoilers. Any spoilers are intended for you to hype you to watch the anime, not to spoil it. Enjoy the video. Maids. For some reason, it's one of the pinnacles in weeb culture. It doesn't matter the genre of the anime, you for sure will find one. These happy and forever smiling creatures, always willing to serve her master or mistress, have been an emblematic part of anime, and it's also on the bucket list of almost every weeb outside Japan to go to a maid cafe and enjoy all the moe moe kyun. PA Works, the anime studio that brought gems like The Day I Became a God, Body Becoming, The Aquatope on White Sand, Angel Beats, and Charlotte, brought a new story with maids unlike any other. Let's remember that PA Works is also responsible for works like Another, which is pretty messed up, especially for that umbrella scene. PA Works' signature is producing original animes, and during the fall of 2022, it brought us AKIBA Maid War, which is not so far from the idea of Narcos. You might know the maids from animes as these cute girls singing and servicing their masters and doing cute poses or chanting charms so the food can taste good. But what you don't know is that back in 1985, a revolution happened in the maid world in Akihabara when a shootout between rival maids happened, resulting in the casualty of a head maid. Fast forward to 1999, we find a 17-year-old girl named Nagomi Washigara who begins her new job working at a big team maid cafe. She's trying to follow her dream of being a cheerful and hard-working maid as we see in animes. However, we later discover that things are not quite what they look like. And it's because in 1999, there are two major groups that control the maid cafe scenario: the Maid Alien Group and Creatureland Group. Maid Alien Group, themed as the name implies, aliens and sci-fi, while Creatureland theme was primarily going to animals. Nagomi starts working for one of Creatureland's small cafes called Ton Tokaton, which is a big team maid cafe. While there exists a virtual truce between the Creatureland maid group and the Alien maid group, there's also a tremendous rivalry between all the cafes in Creatureland, which the anime mainly focuses on. If you're trying to make sense of the story, I would say you don't have to, so don't even try it. Just watch it, and I wouldn't say enjoy it, because almost at the end sequence of the first episode, Nagomi witnesses a horrifying scene where she and Ranko were sent to steer trouble to one of the alien maid cafes because of financial problems that the Ton Tokaton cafe manager had with the Creatureland bosses. This anime goes with almost every episode killing off these cute maids, which are a gender type through and through and will get you. This anime makes a really good job at displaying how a Yakuza or gangster type show blends with the general public, making it seem like a legit business, while in the shadows it's just a nasty mess. During almost the first half of the anime, the staff of the Ton Tokaton cafe gets in one trouble after another thanks to the manager's shenanigans. But around episode 6, it's when the real consequences and the rest of the plot develops, thanks to one of the maids being released from prison, as she was one of the leaders of the alien maid cafes. When she gets the news that The maid cafe that was obliterated back on episode 1, she is set to get retribution. This later becomes in an all-out war that ends up in the main aliens being absorbed by the creature land, which later involves more problems for the Ton Tokaton staff. One of the other major key points of the anime is Ranko, a 35-year-old maid with a past. We don't learn about Ranko's past until around episode 8, where we get an explanation of why she is still working as a maid despite her old age. Ranko is this serious maid that ends up most of the time being the savior of the Ton Tokaton staff. Despite her looks and behavior, Ranko is probably one of the best and most caring maids in the whole AKIBA Maid War world. We learn that Ranko was the catalyst that started the Maid War revolution back in 1985, when she was hired at a maid cafe when the war between maids was happening. Ranko's former boss was a violent lady who later turned soft thanks to Ranko. We're introduced also to the main antagonist of the anime, Nagi, who is the leader of the Creature Land group and former colleague of Ranko when they were working back in 1985 together. Nagi was an orphan who was taken care of by Ranko's former boss. She was a stubborn lady who did not want to change the way of maids. It is because of her stubbornness and way of doing things that the whole all-out war happened with her in the middle of it. This anime is a really bizarre roller coaster of emotions. While every episode on this anime has bloodsheds and gunfights, we can also see the emotional part of being a maid, at least how anime have teaches us. While Nagami is still staying strong at how a maid is supposed to serve the masters, the rest of the maids in AKIBA Maid War are completely and utterly obsessed with the idea of crushing each other, and we see that happening at the end of episode 11 when a tragedy strikes. And I was sincerely not expecting this kind of development at the end of episode 11 when Ranko is stabbed in the back by one maid that held a grudge from the former alien maid group. This unexpected development sends the viewer to a spiral of mixed emotions just when you thought that everything had already calmed down. Then turns out that the real storm starts. This is when Nagami and the rest of the staff at Ton Tokaton Cafe prepare for the last battle between the Ton Tokaton staff and Nagi and the rest of Creature Land's maids. This all-out war took place in the very same cafe where Ranko and Nagi's used to work back in 1985. This unexpected last battle was really emotional because the staff of the Ton Tokaton Cafe showed real professionalism in serving the mistresses and showing them how a real maid was supposed to act. The final sequence of episode 12 ends with Nagi shooting Nagumi while she was performing a song, and then she getting shot and later impaled by the bamboo that the panda costume girl threw at her. The end credits start rolling, and before you start getting ready to throw your smartphone or computer out of the window because of the cliffhanger, the anime provides a bittersweet ending in a way that right after the end credits, which were normally sung by Ranko, is now sung by Nagami. It later fast forward to the year 2018 when a group of adults decides to visit a maid cafe where a 35-year-old maid, said to be the best one, is there. To the surprise of the audience, who last saw Nagami being shot at before the end credits, we see a 35-year-old Nagomi riding a wheelchair and happily greeting the masters. Somehow, this anime, with only a 20-second sequence after the end credits, hits you with the feels that only PA Works anime knows how to. AKIBA Maid War was definitely one of the weirdest animes that I watched in fall 2022, but also one of the most enjoyable ones. I would recommend, now that you can, binge watching it and feel the full power of the feels that only PA Works can deliver. This story definitely went out of the way like any other PA Works anime that I've ever seen, but as an original anime from PA Works, it stood up to PA Works' reputation. If you haven't watched AKIBA Maid Wars, I recommend you to give it a try and discover the dark past of the maid cafes before they were the cute establishments that we know now. I'm the Beeper Mexican, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next week with the podcast.